Okay, so now we are going to be adding a bead to the top and the bottom. This part must be done before we can begin working on the black layers. Okay, we're starting at the bottom. I have those 4 Chinese knotting cords, right? I'm going to take the top 2 and I'm going to use the bottom right underneath it to make I don't know what you call it, like a diamond. I'm gonna add a bead. Okay. One underneath attaches to the one on the top. Now, because I need 6 strings to add the bead that I want to add, I'm gonna take 1 black string from the top layer and just attach it on there like that. Same thing for the other side. The very bottom black string will be used for the bead, to wrap up a bead. So now we have 6 strings. I'm going to take the 2 in the middle and add a large silver bead. I honestly don't know the gauge or the caliber of this bead. They're ones that I got a long time ago, but the hole is quite large. It's got to be more than a millimeter bead. It's a large hole. It's kind of a large bead. When it comes to adding beads to these designs, guys, you're gonna have to figure out the ones that you like the best or that fit in with your color scheme. It's silver. I want to say it's at least a 3, probably a 4 millimeter bead with at least a 1 millimeter hole, but I think the hole is a little bit larger. You just slide it on up there. Then we do, okay, so this is where my failure to know not names is gonna be a little tricky. I'm doing one where it faces out, and then I attach the string that actually has the bead on there. And again, the knot that faces out. And then we tie the 2 together, and we've just wrapped a bead. Now what I'm gonna do is I flipped over to the top. I'm gonna take these 2 red cords, and I have two black knotting cords that came from when I added the Chinese knotting cord. They're the first 2 underneath it. The only black Chinese knotting cords. The other red Chinese knotting cords that are left over from the wrapping of the stone, just put those off to the side. You won't need it. So I'm going to do the same thing. It's going to turn into a 6-string diamond pattern that I will add a bead to. This is the adding the second string, and I'm left with 6 strings, and I'm going to add the bead to the 2 in the middle. See there? This is where a lot of the times your lighter comes in handy, and this is also why I love using Chinese knotting cord, because when you put the lighter to the 2 ends and pull just a little bit, you get a nice tail. and beads usually just slide right on. If you're using small beads, I might have to use tweezers, or you might have to cut it at like a diagonal to get the bead on there, because some, you guys know, sometimes beads, the holes are just so small and so impossible. And a lot of times our designs call for us to bead through 2 strings in order to, make it secure, make the pattern, make the whatever it is we're doing. But okay, so I'm doing the same thing, just wrapping the bead. And because I'm using red and black here, you'll have 2 black on left, 2 black on right, and we'll connect, or 2 black on left, 2 black on right, and red left at the bottom that you tie together. I guess the reason I hesitated to make tutorials for so long is because I feared I would fail at explaining what I'm doing. But if you just watch, you can turn the sound off if you want to. It's how I learned. I just watched and watched. All right, now I'm going to take 2 black cords from each side, 2 of the black flat waxed, and I'm going to do what I call so I'm going to start 1, flip it other way, 2, other way, 3, 4, 5, back and forth, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. The 11th knot, you'll have the cord facing out. If you watch to see what I did, and then I'm going to attach it to the bead strings. I use a pin to hold it in place in a kind of like a curve position. If you don't do that, I don't know if it will hold the curve position. It can be kind of tricky. You use the pin to hold the cord to make it look the way you want. So in this case, it's like a C. It kind of looks like a C. Okay, so that's done. Now I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. Take the 2 cords, the one on the left over top of the one on the right, and we count 1, other way, 2, 3, 4, 5 out, 6 in, 7 out, 8 in, 9 out, 10 in, 11 out. 11 is just the number that works for the design choices I've made. If you're using all of the same materials I'm using, it'll be the same. If you're using smaller strings, it could be more. If you're using bigger strings, it could be less. Just so you know. But I tend to work with all of the same size cords and materials. So usually when I'm doing this, it's about the same to get the effect that I'm going for, the design choices that I have made. I'm attaching them to the 3 bead cords at the top here. This is the top. And I know it's the top because it's the part with the red Chinese knotting cord. Okay, so that's that. Hopefully you can see it. And I am about to, so you'll have like 3, 4, 5 cords on each side of that knot. Now I'm going to flip back and I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom. I'm going to take 2 more cords, 2 more black cords, and do the same design. Take the one, when you're doing the left side, the one on the right starts out, 2 is in, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 'Pin it in the middle to make a C and attach it to the bead cords. Okay, now the left side, the one on the left side goes over the right, and we start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And we'll use a pin to curve it into like a C and attach. I hope my pins aren't in your way to see. It's the, I wish I might not have chosen black for this project, but it's the one I was currently working on that I decided to start making tutorials, so. Okay, so that's that, guys. We've done our red leaves. We've added a bead at the top and the bottom with a little bit of fillery. And up next, we will begin the black layer. So stay tuned for that. I still have to film it, so it might be a day or two. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye, guys.